my recording? No, I did. I did it first. Clapping.
1, 2, 3. Fine, you win.
Uh-huh.
You started
hi.
the podcast better.
Oh, hi. Yeah, I do.
I concede.
Yes, this is BroJ Podcast. I am OJ.
I am your bro.
That's us.
Also known as Brandon. If this is your first episode, welcome to this shenanigans.
Yeah, let's do a thing. Let's do the...
Okay.
Now, we're going to kick it off real good at the beginning with fake news.
It's beautiful. International Consortium? What?
I don't know.
Consortium? So, international something of cats announces plan to colonize Mars. Cites lack of dogs as key benefit.
Okay, so this is just a take on there's no cats in America. Like, you know, the Great American Tale of Fievel, where they sail across to America because there's no cats in America. So this
I didn't
is
even think of that.
The cats are going, oh, you know what? We're going to go to Mars because there's no dogs there.
Fair. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't even think of that. Wow, it's been a long time since I've seen that show.
Oh my gosh. There are no cats in them. And the streets are paved with cheese. Oh, I love that.
Good show.
Anyway.
I'm not sure there's much more to say to that. I mean,
nope.
I mean, if cats were smart enough, they would probably do this. So, you know.
They're probably working on it right now.
Probably.
They've probably already done it. Like the Mars rover is probably going to like see a cat just hanging out there any moment.
Probably. Okay. Breaking. I'm assuming you meant breaking news.
Breaking news.
Local wizard arrested for turning traffic lights into jelly. Claims it was for science.
Wizards.
Classic wizard things. Just messing up the world.
So are wizards science-based? I guess they are, right? I'm just thinking
I would think
like,
so.
Of like the different classes in like, you know, classical, like D&D, right? You have like warlocks and things, people who are born with magic, whereas the wizards typically, at least in that canon, right? It's based on knowledge and things they've learned. So
yeah, they're like the studious spellcasters.
Right.
I mean, you have the classic wizard stuck in the tower studying magic and learning the different things. So,
okay. So he's calling it science.
Yeah.
Why? Why? Okay, was he trying to turn it into jelly? Or was that like the wrong thing? He's trying to turn this... Maybe he's just trying to change the light.
He's probably just trying to make traffic move for him. He was stuck in traffic.
And it just turns into...
messed up and turned it into jelly.
Or what if it's like on The Office where Jim puts Dwight's stapler in a Jello mold? Like, what if it just like now
encased it? Oh, that would be great. I don't feel like it would hit news though if it was just that.
Okay, it literally melted into like jelly.
Like I think the light part where you have the bulb, like in the traffic light. Like the green part or the red part, whatever. I think that part actually turned it into a jelly, like the lens and the light. Just became like a green thing of Jello.
So would the green one taste like probably
lime.
Apple? Lime?
No, it'd be lemon lime.
Oh, not apple.
I feel like green jelly's typically the lemon lime flavor. Is that wrong?
Oh well, you might be right actually.
I feel like it's less common to have like the green apple taste in jelly.
I do like the green apple taste, though. I would want it to be green apple.
I agree.
But it'd probably be... And maybe that's what he's trying to do. And it's just the wrong flavor.
And now everything's wrong.
Yes.
Okay, moving on from that one.
Okay.
Giant rubber duck mysteriously appears in major river. City officials puzzled but amused. Yeah, that's the end of that one.
This happens. I'm pretty sure this... Like, they do big rubber duck races through rivers. Somewhat where I've seen that.
I could easily see this being a real headline.
I think it's in Washington.
Really?
I could be wrong.
I haven't heard of it.
But I've seen things like that where they do like these big rubber duck races and like people enter in and then like you have a number on your rubber duck and whoever wins a prize or whatever, and it's like
I could see that.
Charity or whatever. But I could see like just a big comical rubber duck just to like promote it,
or just someone that's making a prank to like make a mysterious giant duck appear somewhere to like have it
Yeah.
hit the news for whatever reason.
Actually, and I don't know why this popped in my head. I think there was an episode of Smurfs
Okay.
where the bad guy makes a submarine shaped like a duck and like comes along and like
Okay. There you go.
to spy on the Smurfs.
Of
Oh my
course.
gosh, why do I remember that?
I don't know. I haven't thought of that show in a long time. But yeah, totally
Same
real
as.
headline right there, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Area man discovers his houseplants have formed a union, demands better sunlight and water rights. Area man?
What's an area?
What's an
man?
area man?
Maybe. I wonder if
A
he got
man
in a
of the
fight with.
area?
What if he got in a fight with Triangle Man?
Or circumference, dude?
Triangle wins though.
Absolutely. It's a perfect
Okay.
shape.
Maybe this is about you, because you have houseplants
I do
and
have a
they're
houseplant.
sentient.
Yeah, my child, Brad.
And you're gonna form a union and demand better sunlight and water rights.
I'm still trying to figure out what the AI was trying to get across with area man. like a farmer or like a landowner,
I think.
like
I
a
think it's like,
rancher.
you know how you have Florida Man, right?
Okay.
I think it was trying to generalize that like a man in your local area. So like insert your local area here,
Okay.
man. Maybe.
Maybe, I guess. Start just referring to everyone as an area man in some way.
Trying
Such
to
an
figure
area
out what
man.
what jobs the houseplants have where they're trying to make demands anyway.
The decorations, they're there to look pretty.
Okay. So actually, so this is sort of true, right? Because like, hey,
Yeah.
we can't be green and pretty if you don't give us water and sunlight.
Yeah. Okay. World's first underwater restaurant flooded by enthusiastic mermaids on opening night. I loved
Okay,
the pun
so
there.
so I've had this idea in my head for a while
Okay.
of like, even as a little kid, I wanted to be and who knows where this dream went? It just took off. But
Okay.
I wanted to be like a marine biologist and like
Okay.
go and study the ocean. I always thought, I still think it's pretty cool, and it's not very much of it's been explored,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's probably livable. I've always felt like we could build houses down under the ocean and build down into all the space down there and
Mm-hmm.
just colonize the ocean. Um, I've always wanted to try that. And so, like, just envisioning this of like, the restaurant with the glass dome, it's like, this is almost my dream. Like, oh, I want that. I want to be there.
I wonder why people haven't done that though. Like why someone do you think it's because like in some ways I know it's like a certain distance away from your border of your country, it's international waters, but do you think it has something to do with that or do you think it's really just kind of like environmental restrictions of like trying to like preserve it that kind of prevents that kind of thing?
I think it's both. That conservationists don't want, people invading that space.
Fair.
And they who knows how far they have like jurisdiction, like you're saying, out to it's like 20 miles off your shore or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
or 200 or something, I don't know. But so I wonder if like that's their limit. So I wonder if there are people doing it, but it's like way out there, like near islands that are like privately owned and stuff,
Mm,
and like they just keeping it a secret maybe.
yeah. And I mean, it's not like you could go. I feel like you couldn't go too far under without running into the effects of like living in prolonged like pressure because you'd have to pressurize as you got lower.
Right.
And so I wonder if it's also like a conflict of like the areas that would essentially be prime for that are tourist leisure spots that are providing more income for like the city
Mm.
and the area and to where you'd like lose out on that like income of it being like a leisure space for like
Yeah, people
tourists
go
and
like
stuff.
snorkeling and scuba diving in the area or just whatever.
Yeah. I like
Yeah.
I would assume it would like ruin the beach experience for tourism of like I'm sure it would affect waves in some way for like the recreation side
Oh yeah, it would, huh?
and possibly like I don't know, in some other way.
It could just be insanely hard to build that sort of structure, right? To handle
True.
the waves and the force and the pressure down there, because maybe they could build it in a way where it depressurizes it, but even that's really complicated.
Well,
And
it's not like they
so,
haven't done that.
yeah, so you'd
I don't
think it'd
know.
be someone who've done it somewhere.
Yeah, you would have think
It's
of
been done in movies.
like I would have thought it would have at least been like a test run, kind of like, let's see what happens if we have like a group of 10 families in like a little community living
Yeah,
in like underwater houses and like just like a social experiment almost, kind of a thing. I
right.
would have expected like something like that to have happened already.
At least, which makes you wonder if there's some sort of large society or like secret society that's preventing it because maybe there's stuff going on under the water that we're not allowed to know about.
With our tinfoil hats.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I don't
okay,
know.
so back to this thing. Are they real mermaids? Have like real
Oh,
mermaids?
it could be the performer mermaids. Have you seen that profession?
Yes, yes. And they have like the actual like real like
Yeah.
tails. Those are
Or just
very
like all of
cool.
a sudden we realize there's been like a mermaid species that like knows all about us and just decide to reveal themselves because they got super excited about this restaurant.
Yeah, they're like, oh, they're coming to see us because like it's hard for them to get on land to communicate with us. So they're excited for us to make first contact with them. Maybe
Or
I
they
think
think
that's
this
it.
is us making like a show of like a peaceful like offering of like, hey, we're reaching out to you, and they're like, oh, they're finally being peaceful. Let's go show ourselves, and are all excited
Uh-huh.
about this new restaurant that we made for that they thought we made for them.
Right, and they come in and like they don't respect the water seal, and it floods.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm
something.
sure it's gonna flood anyway if anyone tries it. It's just too complicated.
I imagine this being like a not the onion um headline where it was basically just like people dressed up as mermaids, but not with like the full tail thing, but just like a bunch of people in costumes in like floods coming and showing up at this restaurant, and they just like have fun with this play on words to just like get people to click on the title.
It's clickbait.
And it's not even actually underwater. It's just like an underwater themed restaurant.
The whole thing's a lie.
The whole thing's just kind of really a lie.
I'm so disappointed. All my wildest dreams out the
It's in the middle
window.
of Arizona. That's what it would really be.
It
The
reminds
middle
me of
of
like
nowhere.
those places where you can go surfing. Like they have those artificial like surf pools. I
Oh,
think
yeah,
we
yeah.
have one here, and it's like, okay, I guess it's a neat experience, but like you're so far away from an ocean and any place to legitimately go surfing. It's just, I don't know. I always
Yeah.
find it weird and out of place. It's like if there are the people who love surfing as a hobby, you would think that they're living near the ocean where you can just do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm crazy.
But I think it's also for the people who don't like the rest of the experience surfing. They just like the part where they're on the wave. And with that device, they could just instantly be on the wave doing the cool tricks. You don't have to actually paddle out there. And with some of them,
Okay.
you don't even have to actually get wet. They have the brush
Yeah.
ones. Have you seen those?
The no. A
It's
what?
like a fabric brush that's like mimicking a wave. You don't even get wet. There's not even water involved in like this artificial
What?
surfing. I'm pretty sure I saw it.
Crazy.
It is essentially using like it almost looked like what you'd look at like at the end of a broomstick
Okay.
was like, or like in the vacuum you got like the roller brush.
Oh,
They were
oh,
spinning and like
oh.
it was creating the friction against the board, making it feel like you were going up on a wave. And
Oh,
then as soon as you fell
crazy.
off, it would just shut off and you just kind of, you know,
You die a little.
you maybe bump your knee and get a bruise.
Okay, I can see this. Yeah, okay, I can see that part. Especially with like rock climbing, right? You have rock climbing gyms.
Some of them
You just
enjoy the actual mountain experience and like getting to the mountain and doing all that part. And some of them just like the pure, like
just
technical
climbing.
problem solving of the climbing and would rather just go straight to that and then be home at their house by dinner.
Because bushwhacking is rough, dude. There was this one time
Yeah.
I went. Oh, it was so bad. So I went rock climbing quite a bit in high school, and
Hmm.
I decided that just one day my friend and I were going to go rock climbing to a place I had never been before. But I have this booklet that lists all these places to rock climb. I'm like, oh, if we just go up this canyon here and go here, we should be able to do this. And my little brother wanted to tag along,
Mm-hmm.
and so we brought Jacob along, and he was really, really little. He was probably around, I'd say probably 12 years old at the
Okay.
time. So I was like in high school and a bit older. But anyway, we start trying to make our way to this place. We realize you have to go up this mountain a bit, and the trail kind of disappears a little bit, and you have to do some bouldering, and the bouldering gets quite extreme to the point where we're like questioning, is this the right way? Are we going to the right place?
Yeah.
It turns out we were. It was just like insane that you'd have to do such actual bouldering to get up over to this cliff face.
Yeah.
And the sun started setting. And I'm like, we brought some flashlights. I've been night climbing before, so I was like, okay, well, we figured it might happen like this. And this climb was so hard that like I couldn't do it, and my friend couldn't do it, and what we ended up doing is getting Jacob to do it. And because he was so light, it was just he's more nimble. He was just able
Yeah.
to do it just because of the nature of this thing. But there were parts of it where like shoot, I don't remember exactly how, but we ended up like having to like pull him a lot of it all the way up.
Oh
And
yeah.
like use
Okay.
both of our weight to pull him up. I think he must have fallen down or something. We had to pull him to get back up. And
Yeah.
anyway, and it was like pitch black too. So we're like
Oh
down at the bottom,
jeez.
shining lights up to Jacob, who's 12 years old, never been climbing before. We're shouting instructions to him about what to do.
Oh
It
god.
was so stupid and so dangerous. And like that part in itself was a bad idea. But then we had to go back down and finding
Mm-hmm.
the right boulders, like a path of boulders to go down. And it was so dark that like we could barely see like the bottom of them and trying to jump from boulder to boulder. We
Okay.
almost just gave up and like called for like whatever
Rescue
you call it.
services.
Rescue. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're like, this is so stupid and so bad.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh. But we eventually made it. Just took a lot longer.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's yeah. That's scary.
Good times. Wow. I totally forgot about that. That was
Probably
so many
repressed that one.
stupid things. Yeah. I did so many stupid things where I should have died. And like it's just a miracle I'm sitting here right now. It's
You're
just
a
a pure
miracle, OJ.
miracle. Yes. Or a curse. I mean,
Well, you
who
know,
is the force trying to keep me alive, huh?
it's
To
one of the
haunt
two.
humanity. Oh my gosh.
That's great. Yeah, I've only been outdoor climbing once. I was always just an indoor climber. It was actually the time you took me and my brother rock climbing.
I did take you guys rock climbing one time.
Yeah,
So
but
right, but like that's the part that like I guess you sort of avoid if you just go to the gym.
yeah, which
It's way safer.
it's yeah, in that sense it's safer. I always liked the fact that I could go to the same place and have like a rotation of changes to the walls without having to like travel further or like refigure out how this spot works or like because a lot of times I shouldn't say I would assume that some places are like more popular and busy than others when it comes to outdoor rock walls. And so like finding like the right
Yes.
time when you could actually find space to like actually get a chance to climb the wall when you're trying to go into a space. I just imagine all that being for
I've
me
had to
way
wait
too
in line
tedious.
at a mountain to climb a route before.
See, I'd hate that. I'd rather just like have a place where I know, hey, at this time there's less people, this time there's more people, and then there's just like a rotation of problems that I can just always stay stimulated by.
It is really nice, especially like you keep coming back to the same one if you like didn't
Mm-hmm.
complete it and keep challenging yourself. But then at the same time, like a lot of times, like they'll have different colors that indicate different routes too. Like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they'll mark it with just colored tape. But yeah, and you get just a ton of variety just in one place.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I was more of a boulderer. I didn't really do rope climbing a whole lot.
Oh right.
And I feel like I assume there's less bouldering spots outdoors than there are just like regular rope routes in the
There's
outdoor
like
space.
more opportunities to go bouldering, but like less of them are officially like documented
Mhm.
and stuff of that. Yeah, for
So it's
sure.
more of like the adventure of going out and finding one.
Yeah, yeah.
But then you have to like hike out your pads, and
Dude,
you have
those
to go
pads.
buy one of those like $1,000 pads, and
Oh my gosh. They are. They're expensive and huge. They're the worst to hike in.
I feel like you'd have like from the spots I've seen, like I've watched some videos of people doing it. I can't imagine not going without a spotter. Like I can't
Right.
imagine doing it solo.
There
Like
was
it
a
seems
guy
way too dangerous.
I went bouldering with one time who actually he brought an inflatable one of those inflatable like king size mattresses actually. So it
Oh,
just
okay, there
packs
you
up
go.
really small and you just pull it out and have a battery powered pump and
That works.
Bob's your uncle.
Okay. See,
Makes me
yeah,
wonder
there's
though, like what
options.
other sort of like dangerousy like outdoor things could we simulate in a controlled environment? Like I guess they have parachuting, right? You can go to those wind tunnels
You can go to
that
the
blow.
wind tunnels and do the like the aerial aspect of like the jump.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm. Okay, something I've always thought was super dangerous is like mountain biking. I went like one time and like I nearly like it was just an easy route too, but I
my
nearly died.
it's dangerous.
That's one of those ones that I think is just like so stupid dangerous. And you see these videos of people like mountain biking on like the craziest cliffs and stuff like that.
My brother has a lot of stories of stuff like that because he did that a lot.
Do you think there's a way to do like indoor bike routes
There
that
is
are there is?
there are indoor bike gyms. They're very rare, but like they have you ever
Ooh.
seen the downhill mountain biking where they have set trails, but they've added like wooden platforms and stuff like that to add to like the ramps and like the curves. Have you seen those
Okay.
before?
Yeah, yeah.
It's essentially that, but it's basically all wooden with like a few artificial rock spots. But it's basically like a think of it like a massive the massive wood skate parks. It's essentially like one
Okay.
of those spaces, but it's a bunch of like just artificial bike trails with like the wood like plating all along, and you basically just have these routes of like there's little lights to indicate someone's fallen so you can slow down and not hit somebody, but there's like entry and exit spots and little forks, and you basically just do these big complicated loops around the place. And then there's like some smaller like because obviously you
Okay.
want the outside to be the big long loop so you can have as much space to like move around and do stuff. But then like in the center there's like some
Right.
more funner like balancing ones where
It's
you're
like a
trying to like
park.
move a little bit slower and balance. But yeah, it's kind of almost like a skate park, but
Interesting.
just like downhill mountain biking kind of paths.
Okay.
And I've heard they're kind of the same experience of like, it's kind of fun, kind of like going to something like classic skating where you're like just at like an indoor skate place where you go around in circles on like just to like music kind of a place to where it's like not the same experience, but it's still fun and kind of like a fun substitution, you know? And
Okay. That yeah, you
and
can
there's a
meet
little bit more
people there a
social.
lot easier, right? And be like, "Hey man, let's try this route."
Yeah. So like you can socialize a
Okay.
little bit more. You can take people who are like less experienced and it's not dangerous to like kind of
Oh.
like get the feel and experience for like moving on a bike. But from what I've seen, they're very few and far between.
But there might be a market for it. Well, you'd think, right? You do. So we do have a bunch of people that bike.
Hmm.
So it's the people are there. The market is here for it.
Yeah.
I
So
wonder if something
I
like
don't know. I
that
guess
would
there
be
could
pretty
be.
successful.
I guess there could be something, but especially for like the
Hmm.
winter months.
Hmm.
But
It's funny. It's like, yeah,
I don't
ideas
know.
like this, right? Like this is sort of probably a halfway decent idea. I don't know anything about bikes, right?
Fair.
I've ridden some.
Yeah, I
I've never
know.
like repaired one or built one. Like, I'm not a bike nerd, but like, you have this idea,
Hmm.
and then you're like, cool. I think it'd be great and very successful. I wouldn't have any clue how to execute it or build any of that, or do anything about any of that.
Yeah, like for me, I know a little bit more. Like I would kind of have the basic knowledge for how to build that, and I've technically have built and worked on bikes, but it would be very much so like I would try to go find someone who knew the stuff to like design the route and then the fun part would actually be building it. And then as soon as it's up and running, I'd be so bored of the business that I'd be like,
Yeah.
I'd have to hire someone else to run it because I've had all my fun building the platforms. It'd be like, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
I'm done
Okay,
with
here.
this.
You take over. You built it all anyway. I
Yeah,
don't even know why I was here. I just had an idea.
yeah. Look, I had some extra nails and I just wanted to hammer some wood together. Okay.
I feel that way about so many things all the time. Where like I'll have an idea, but like then I go, this is actually a great idea and could work. I don't really like any of that stuff though, and don't know how to do any of that. I'm bad at being a geek.
Oh man, I know that feeling. Like I like
Uh,
to think I'm part of these like fandoms, and I'm like, I'm just so bad at being a part of that community. I just don't belong.
okay, so I
Uh,
like Dungeons and Dragons, right? I have more than 20 books of like all like D&D rules and what do you call it? Scenarios and stuff like that.
hmm
Um and there's been times where like I go to talk to somebody about D&D and they want to nerd out and like be like, "Oh yeah, you know what's super overpowered is the barbarian subclass that can do this." I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah.
And it's like there's this level of geekdom where people actually like memorize and learn all the different parts of everything,
hmm
like the details and the statistics and things. And it's like it makes me feel like I'm not a geek. Like I thought I was, but like I couldn't tell you not a single subclass of any of the classes. I don't even know
Yeah.
if I could, it would be hard for me to even name all. And I've been a DM for quite a lot. And it's like,
You have.
there's these things, and I just use that as an example because, like, there's lots of things where I go, oh, I love this thing so much. And then if I ever try talking to anyone about it, I like don't know anything about it. But I love it.
Yeah. No, I feel you on that one. I think a lot, and I'm not one of these people. There's a lot of people who can pick one thing that they really enjoy, and that's the thing they enjoy.
The
They don't
thing.
enjoy hardly anything else. Like, I don't know this
Okay.
person that liked D&D that you met and you were talking to, but I could assume that they don't really play other video games at all. They don't play other board games.
Oh, okay.
They don't really do any of the other geeky nerdy things. D&D is just the thing they do, and that's all they do, and they love that thing. They're
I
super happy
see.
just doing that. It's like the same thought process of people who have a video game.
Okay.
Like they've played, like there's a ton of people like that. They've only played StarCraft 2. That's the video game they play, and they don't play any other video game.
It's like
Period.
they specialize
Yeah,
in
but
it,
and
and like that's it.
they can play it daily. They love it that much. And it's like I'm
Yeah.
just not one of those people. Like I'll dive into things and learn things, and I like have certain things that I quote unquote specialize in. I don't know if that's the right word, but I'm very much so I don't just stick to one thing. So I
Right.
don't get to that level of detail that you're talking about for most things.
Right. And so like it makes me wonder like am I truly like a nerd or a geek in this topic or is it just something I sort of like? And if there's are there
Yeah.
is there some sort of geek card that you earn by knowing so many things, be able to like do so much trivia?
Yeah.
Oh, that's another thing, trivia. Like, right? Like I have some
hmm
nephews that they really know everything about Harry Potter universe. I
hmm
enjoy Harry Potter. I felt like I was a Harry Potter nerd or geek, but like sitting and talking with them, and like they know the names of specific spells and like what they do and how to do it and things like that. And it's like I couldn't know, not at
I
all.
don't know any of that.
So it's crazy. I've been trying to think of like, is there anything where I know the details, the trivial details that
That's a
nobody
good
else
question.
thinks to um, research and dive into.
I feel like I've been through stages of that through maybe a couple of things.
We start learning
Not
lots
a
of things, and you
lot.
go, I know enough.
Well, it's like I was like the first one that comes to mind is a game called Wayward Terran Frontier.
Okay.
That was a game I dove into super hard. Jacob actually introduced it to me when it was in alpha, and then I got to the point where I knew all of the tick stats of like when you're playing a game, it goes through like update ticks. So like every second or every whatever the timer is, the game updates. I knew what was being updated with each module during the ticks of the game. So I could say at this module during this tick, it's being updated by like 5 energy and dissipating 3 and moving the thruster at this point. Like I knew that kind of stuff about the game is how detailed I went into learning about that game. Like
Okay.
I got like you could almost ask me anything about that early alpha and early beta, and I was like, in my opinion, one of those people was like the go-to knowledge. Like I almost knew as much about the game as the devs did without knowing the underlying code. Is how much I got into it. It was ridiculous.
Holy cow. Yeah,
But
no,
like,
that's okay. That's the exact thing. Yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
But now, if you ask me about that game with all this stuff that's changed because I don't play anymore. I've fallen out of that. Like being that knowledge based person, unless you wanted to know about stuff from the past, you know.
Mm.
So I've like fallen out of that, but I was like in that mode during that time.
Now, did you stop playing it because it did change? Or did it
Um,
change afterward?
it no, I don't think I stopped playing because it changed. I just, I
Or
guess
do
I
you
got a
still
little
play
bit
it?
bored.
I don't know.
No, I don't still play it anymore.
Okay, sorry.
It got to the point where not enough new stuff was happening to where I was kind of getting bored with it. um,
Okay. You
and
mastered it.
it also wasn't a finished game, and so like some of like the bugs that had been around forever, I had experienced probably more than other people, and so they were irritating me more than other people,
I see.
kind of a thing. And so like things got old. Like I could probably say I beat that game up to like what its
Sure. What?
storyline offered, like in early beta, like 200 times is like how many times I'd like
Oh, wow.
played through it,
Holy cow.
and like how many hours I had spent in that game just like playing around in the designer was easily like 700 hours.
Holy smokes.
Like I really spent a lot of time in it. And for a while there I was like to the level of making YouTube tutorials for it. Like
That's right.
trying to like educate other people of like, hey, for those of you that just want to like casually play through this and like but want to like competently make a ship, because the whole game, that whole aspect of the game was to like make your own spaceship. It used to be.
Okay.
It's less that now. You can still do
Mm.
that, but it's less focused on that. But like I wanted to like provide information so people could like competently make a spaceship without having to go through all like the testing and stuff like that that I had to do. I wanted to make it more accessible because it was still like a
Oh,
not put
yeah.
together game
Yeah, okay. So, because you had to like suffer through some learning
a lot
things of
because it was
failing
like
and be like, oh, that's not how this works.
it's not, yeah, yeah. And like I would like study through like the release notes from the developer and like do like update videos of like going through the patch notes and test the different things and explain what they actually meant and stuff like that. And it was crazy. But
Wow.
that's probably the deepest I've dived into anything and been like the absolute subject matter expert from my
Right.
perspective on.
Okay. Well, okay. Well, that's an interesting point. One of my jobs, they did refer to like some of the higher level support people as subject matter experts, and I guess there was some stuff, but that's work where I like
Yeah.
knew all the nitty gritty of it, and um, that's probably the closest I've ever come to like diving into something and like obsessing over the details and
Hmm.
repeating it that much. But I don't know. So I was asking about the changing thing because um, so I've been playing Helldivers 2 a lot,
Hmm.
and they keep doing these little changes. And
Hmm.
I've played games before where like it's fun, and then they start tweaking things.
Yeah.
And Um, and for better or for worse, a lot of times it makes it better, but still, there's something about the nature of a game changing that, like, it starts to push me away, even if it's supposedly a good change. Something about it. And the analogy I have was that I was trying to figure out how to describe this feeling. And it's like if you have a restaurant that you go to because you know what's on the menu and you know how they prepare specific meals, and you go,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I go to this restaurant for that meal,
Yeah.
and that's the only reason I go to that restaurant, because I want to have this experience. So I go there and I get the thing, I have the experience. And then,
Yeah.
like, what if they like, we decided to change the sauce. And you're like, no, it's not the same sauce. So your entire, it might be
Mm-hmm.
better, but it's completely different. And so your old experience is lost to time forever now and will never come back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And so I feel like this happens in video games too, where like there's some things specifically with Helldivers too, where they've started to change them, and I go, okay, technically this is probably good, uh, for whatever reason, but we've now lost parts of the core game that were fun,
Yeah.
that made it fun, and we'll probably never get that back now.
Another, I don't. So this comparison also came to my mind when you were saying the restaurant one. Is
Okay.
like with movies. Imagine a space where you can't like buy and have your own copy of a movie. Like you watch a movie and it's great, but then they go in and change a scene because the maker of the movie, the producer and the director had a different vision
George
for it, so they
Lucas?
changed it. Like Lucas Arts went in and changed Star Wars,
Yeah. Oh,
but like just that same feeling of like constantly happening to games of like, I mean, if you look at it objectively, some of the changes they made to like the Star Wars makes sense, and for like an audience that's new to the series that doesn't have
mhm.
that nostalgia of the old version, it's probably a good change and makes sense. Seeing like the
Right.
old Jedi's all together at the end of like what is it, whatever it
Yeah.
is, it's like,
It was
oh, that
cool.
makes sense. It like ties into the old ones. It's the same actors. You see them all together, makes sense. It ties things together. But like for the people who grew up on that Star Wars, it's like, no,
No.
stop it. Stop it. I can't even find you can't even hardly find the original copy of that movie anymore. It's
Right.
almost it's they sell for a lot of money actually.
Unless you had like the VHS or whatever.
Unless you had the original VHS, it's now like impossible to buy cuz like stores can't legally sell that version as like a regular product. You can only find it on
So
like secondhand stores and stuff like that.
so it is like there's some sort of line there where like, just because you can change something and the change would be good, maybe
Mhm.
good,
Yeah.
right? Should you change it? And like, is there value in keeping things like that unchanged, even if like there's bugs, or if it has plot holes and things like that?
Yeah. I think it comes to the difference between a standalone game and a game as a service.
Hmm. Okay.
Because we're used to a finished game that is handed to us and we experience it and all the fun, cool, quirky stuff we find that makes it fun for us stays because it's a standalone finished game. And then you
Right.
come to like these games as a service that are, as the definition of it being a service type of game, is being continually changed and updated to keep our attention and to like, I guess, appease the masses that are playing it in a general sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
But
we might have to just end it there. My OBS is like, yeah, we can't record anymore. I ran out of disk space.
we ran out of hard drive space. Oh no.
So now it's just your face.
Oh
Oh my.
no.
Well, um, you know, maybe that's a good place to end it.
You ran out of disk space?
I ran out of disk
How
space.
did you do that?
I've got
I,
problems with
I'm em-
data.
I'm embarrassed for you.
I'm a data hoarder.
Yeah, so am I, but I have terabytes and terabytes of storage to accommodate that.
Yeah, I've got like 2.5 terabytes.
Yeah, I've got 14. Get on my level. If you're gonna be a data hoarder, you gotta have hard drive space.
Oh no.
I've
I
got
need an
I
intervention.
I easily have more digital data than you do, but I have like the space to accommodate that and have backups.
There needs to be an episode of like Hoarders where like they go in and just clean people's hard drives.
No, stay out of my hard drives. I like all my stuff and need to keep it. I have all my files from all the years I've been online. I don't
Oh,
I don't delete stuff. I always need it at some point.
I do have a backup hard drive. I just need to move stuff over.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's been real nice.
I guess goodbye.
Yep. Remember this is also on Spotify if you're more into Spotify, and click the buttons and bye.
Click all the buttons. Bye.